JCPenney was founded in 1913 by James Cash Penney and William Henry McManus. By 1917, JCPenney operated 175 stores in 22 states. In 1961, the first 2 full-line shopping center stores opened and included more than the average store did at that time. These stores sold appliances, sporting goods, garden merchandise, restaurants, beauty salons, portrait studios, auto parts, and auto centers. In 1963, JCPenney issued their first catalog. Company-operated in-store catalog desks in 8 states turned out to be extremely successful. In 1971, James Cash Penney died, and the company closed for the entire day to show their respect for his life. Now, that year was detrimental to the company as he was such an inspiration to them, but fortunately they did make their first profit ever on the catalogs that year, so that was a great year as far as profits for them, and it was a great way, for his memory to live on. JCPenney is a perfect example of a corporation that's in stage 4 out of the 5 stages of decline. The 4th stage is the grasping for salvation stage, where this business does still have the opportunity to still come back from this downhill decline and, come back and be a great business. So that's where this JCPenney is at right now. We believe that JCPenney is in this stage because of how quickly they changed CEOs within the past 6 years. The retail store can also be considered in this stage because they believe hiring a new CEO will fix the store's declining sales and upset customers. Looking at the actions and failures of the past 3 CEOs, our team has come up with a solution to help improve the standing of this corporation. Now, in the past, JCPenney has come across some major bumps in the road. They were forced to discontinue the treasury discount stores, as well as selling appliances, hardware, and auto centers because they just weren't profitable enough. One other really detrimental thing to this company was a huge earthquake in Alaska that destroyed their store there and really affected their profits. The major downfall of JCPenney was it began in 2010 when Mike Ullman, who was their current CEO, discontinued their catalog. The discontinuation of these catalogs resulted in major loss in sales, which allowed for their chief rival, Kohl's, to surpass them in sales by $0.63 billion. Ullman's mistake resulted in a decline of sales and really drew the attention of 2 prominent investors, William Ackman and Stephen Roth. Ackman and Roth pushed to have Mike Ullman replaced with a new CEO, and they requested that new CEO be Ron Johnson. Johnson was a highly successful retailer in major companies such as Apple and Target. Both investors thought that he could fix Ullman's mistakes and regain these lost sales. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Johnson lost the company over $6 billion in sales as he removed coupons, and it actually lost their stock value. Their stock value decreased by half. He tried and failed to refashion the store to resemble high-end boutiques without really testing the waters to see if that's what the consumers actually wanted, which once he tried that, he quickly found out that's not what they wanted. Johnson was only with the company for 16 months before they asked him to leave, and he really wasn't thinking about the consumer base of JCPenney. He was just focused on what worked for him in the past as far as Apple and Target went. Ackman and Roth both quickly turned their backs on Johnson, so he was quickly removed from that position, and Ullman was actually put back in place as the interim CEO until they could find someone else. So the next CEO they had was Marvin Ellison, and he is a former Home Depot executive. And from our research, we've noticed that Ellison has made some major improvements. His strategy was to have the store just become the best version of itself, forgoing the repositioning of the store, going back to its original layout, and that's actually been extremely successful. He has made so many improvements to fix the former CEO's mistakes. However, some changes, our team is going to offer some changes to him that we think can really help him improve this company. JCPenney needs to focus more on the customers and find out what their actual customers want instead of focusing more on the money and making sure they're making a large profit. This can easily be implemented by creating a national survey and asking what the JCPenney customer base actually wants and needs. By focusing on the consumers, they will eventually, kind of get past this bad spot that they're in, and their reputation will be mended. When coming up with our resolution, we identified JCPenney's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The strength of JCPenney is really the CEO that has been hired. Ellison is amazing, and he has such a great vision for JCPenney. He's really implemented a lot of great things and solved a bunch of problems. The weakness really of JCPenney right now is its reputation. Currently, it's in a really bad spot, but that can totally be redefined with our goals and implementation. With our current CEO, we have the opportunity to regain market value. The threats that we have are competitors that rose above us while we were declining. In conclusion, the best way to maintain positive momentum is to check on skills and managerial support, but there's no rush into hiring a new CEO. Really, you should spend that time and make sure you find someone that is the right fit. And so we believe that JCPenney really has a great opportunity to make a comeback.